Welcome back to my series, The Holy Trinity of Spider Lore TV. Last time round I explained the reason why people tend to dislike or be scared of spiders. This video is going to explain why you shouldn't have a fear or negative view of spiders. This is a one-man spider PR campaign. Let's go. First off, spiders are not out to get you. In fact, they don't really care about us all that much at all. Sorry. The fact of the matter is that the only thing human-wise that spiders are interested in is the things that we make and leave lying around, that they can hide in and that attract their prey. If spiders did want to get rid of us, they actually could. If I could control all the spiders in the world and organise them to wipe out the human race, or at least diminish the population greatly, that is something that spiders could do. There are enough of them on the planet to do that. They actually outnumber us by around about 2.8 million to 1. So that's 2.8 million spiders per human on the planet. And that's just the ones we know about. But they don't. Spiders don't want to eat us. They don't want to kill us. They would rather help us out by eating all the bugs that would otherwise bother us. Now that's not altruistic on their part. It's just easier for them. So yes, we are not all that important to spiders. We could disappear tomorrow and honestly, they probably wouldn't mind all that much. They'd carry on just fine. In fact, spiders really only want to do one thing, and that is the same as the vast majority of life forms on this planet. To survive and reproduce, to pass on their genes to the next generation. In order to do this, they need to stay safe, eat and mate. Therefore, they don't really want anything to do with us as creatures. They utilise the various constructions and debris that we leave strewn across the landscape, but that's about as far as any symbiosis goes. They hide as much as they can. After all, they do have actual predators such as birds, small mammals and various other spiders, and they prey upon anything of a suitable size and fortunate enough to get close to them, typically in a lightning fast ambush. Spiders like crevices, but not moist crevices. Although like all creatures they require water, they do not like it particularly damp. Even though there are species, even in the UK, that live around or in water, and I'll look to cover those in a separate video. But spiders bite, naysayers cry. Well, no, they don't. Not really. I have, over the years, interacted with thousands of spiders. Thousands. Probably tens of thousands actually. During that time I have been bitten by exactly 4 spiders. Only 3 of those were species from the UK, and every single time it was my fault. I'm actually going to detail them all now, in date order. 1. Araneus diadermatus, the common garden spider. When I was a child, I used to live next to a graveyard, and one of my favourite activities, back in the day when kids used to roam free and not just be in front of a screen for most of the day, was to wander around it and look for bugs. I was about 9, maybe 10 I guess, and one day I grabbed an Araneus diadermatus right off its web. Now, even then, the spider didn't bite, although certainly it should have. No, it was only when I started running with the spider in my hand, probably to show my mum or something, that it finally had enough from the rocking sensation and bit me. Obviously I dropped it in the grass where it scurried off, and I learnt a painful lesson. The bite itself required absolutely no attention. In fact, I don't think I even told my parents, and there were no after effects. I've had worse wasp stings. 2. Dysdera crocata, the woodlouse spider. This one happened at Carnarvon Castle in Wales. Still a youngster, I was on a road trip across the UK with my family. Ascending one of the towers in the castle, I was struck by a bright red spider with huge fangs, sitting on one of those arrow slot things that I can never remember the name of. I'd never seen anything like it, and I was intrigued. Now obviously, I'd learned my lesson about grabbing spiders. I'm not stupid, so I poked it. It bit me. Okay, I was still stupid, I was still young. Again, no real effects other than ow, and leaving the spider alone. Another lesson learned. A warning nip, nothing more, even with those huge fangs. Number 3. Steatoda nobilis. Skip forward almost 30 years. That's right, nearly 3 decades without being bitten by a spider, having learned respect, and that includes 10 years of keeping up to 450 tarantulas. If you treat these animals right, they will not bite you. As I say, respect goes a long way. So, how did I get bitten by this most feared of spiders? Well, on purpose, of course. At the time, the media hysteria against this most benign of spiders was in full flow. I was writing articles on my blog debunking the worst of these horror stories, but I wanted to document the bite firsthand. So I found a specimen and I forced it to bite me. Now, even then, let me say that this wasn't easy. The spider had no desire at all to bite. It just wanted to get away. All the prodding and poking in the world would not convince the spider to bite. In the end, the only way I could get the spider to bite me was to push it down on my arm forcibly, as if squashing it. I then released the spider unharmed. This bite was moderately painful, a bit like a wasp sting. I cleaned the bite and stuck a plaster on it and monitored the symptoms. Now, the bite swelled a little bit, as you would expect, and I also experienced intense pruritus, or itching. In fact, this bite was crazy itchy. Now, this is where the majority of complications arise. People scratch the bite, this makes an open wound, and this allows infection to take hold. Anyway, with a plaster on the bite, it stayed clean and sealed, and I managed to resist the urge to scratch. Only other symptom I noted was a very strange clamminess, an odd sensation to be sure. All symptoms disappeared after 3 days. So that's 3 decades and 3 bites from UK spiders. Suffice to say, bites are exceedingly rare. In fact, a spider will bite only when there is absolutely no other recourse or when provoked to the extreme. Even in these instances, it is worth noting that spiders are capable of delivering what is called a dry bite by regulating the amount of venom delivered. After all, venom is only used for one purpose: to subdue prey. There is no benefit to a spider wasting it on a warning bite. So, spiders, not a threat, and they're not out to get us. But that's not all. In fact, to all the members of the invertebrate kingdom, they are arguably the most beneficial of all. I guess that depends how much you like honey, really. For example, spiders eat 400 to 800 million tons of insects yearly. Now that's a lot of flies that would otherwise be going around spreading diseases through bites and the fecal matter on their feet. A lot of locusts or other insects that would be decimating crops. A spider eats 10% of its body weight daily on average. They are pest control supreme. Without spiders, we as a species, Homo sapiens, are dead in 6 months at the absolute most. Then there are the research benefits. Medicinal. Spider venom is being actively researched for use in a variety of applications, from cancer prevention to diabetes to Alzheimer's. There is so much that we do not know about the proteins that make up these cocktails that spiders concoct, and how they can affect the human nervous system. Military. Did you know that spider silk is stronger than steel? Yes, you might not think so, as you can easily wreck a spider web with one hand, but for its thickness, it is more tensile and stronger than steel. This has led to it being researched actively by the military for ballistics applications. Imagine body armour made of something like spider silk. It would be lightweight and strong, unlike bulletproof armour that is in use these days like Kevlar. Spiders can produce up to 7 different types of silk, so the research potentials are 7-fold. Neurological. We've all seen the webs that were produced after spiders were subjected to various narcotic compounds. Spiders have even been taken into space to observe how a lack of gravity would affect them. One spider was allowed to wander around in 0 gravity and managed to produce a proper web. The other, that had been cooped up and not allowed to roam, struggled to produce a cohesive web in the strange conditions. Now scientists believe that the web acts as an extension of the spider's very neural network itself, allowing the spider to designate certain mental tasks to the web. You see, spiders aren't particularly intelligent, While they demonstrate intuitive behaviours, they have relatively small and simple brains, although these do vary from species to species. For example, salticids, or jumping spiders, are generally considered to have more intellectual capacity than most spiders. Another thing to consider is that although we don't know how smart spiders are, they do things that we cannot explain. For example, how do baby spiders learn to spin webs? They certainly aren't taught by their parents. Dad is usually long dead, and mum doesn't normally stick around to rear her young. In fact, quite often she won't be around anyway, having either died before they hatch or sometimes allowing herself to be eaten by her babies in the ultimate maternal sacrifice. No, it's instinct, keyed into the spider's very being, and they can spin a web from an extraordinarily small size, not far off hatching. It's just something that they do. Given how complicated and involved a web's construction is, it's almost unfeasible that they can do it perfectly straight away. Myriad designs and shapes, different types of silk. Spiders are incredible. So, not a threat. Phenomenally beneficial. There really is no reason to be scared of spiders. But, just in case you still are, my next video is the big one. In my next video, I'm going to tell you how to get over your fear of spiders. I'm going to try to show you how to cure arachnophobia. Till next time, chill out. And remember, it's just a spider.